This is a cool video. Let's check this out real quick. John Williams, like the GOAT, like actually of
How would
movie.
I describe a John Williams piece of music? I can tell you how I hope to describe it. I hope it's a good piece of music, something that is effective and people are happy to play
How
and
old
happy
is he
to
now?
hear. One standard, I would say, if it satisfies in a spiritual way with the scene that it's accompanying, then I think it's successful. I've been interested in writing music, I think, since my childhood. My father was a musician, so the house was filled with music books of all kinds. I was already playing the piano from a very early age. I wrote music for my friends to play with their instruments a little bit, something I myself
Damn, when he was
play the
that young?
piano. Never dreaming that I would be a professional composer. Who would have thought you can earn a living writing music? It's unthinkable unless you were going to
True.
be Jerome Kern or George Gershwin. Music has been with me all my life.
Dude, it's like crazy because also when I was a child, I also learned piano for like 5 years of my life and also learned trumpet and like guitar and shit. And none of that stuff with me at all. And none of my family has any music talents. It's like pretty depressing.
But
And now I regret
adults
that I
do
forgot
in
everything.
their profession. Later in my life, I began to conduct orchestras, which is sort of combines the efforts of writing and performing. But I think the first film that I did for a major
Sorry.
director was How to Steal a Million, directed by William
How
Wyler.
to
And
Steal
starred
a
Peter
Million.
O'Toole, who I loved, and Audrey Hepburn, who I loved even more.
Of course, classic. Everyone knows.
Initially, Stephen wanted to have music like Images, which I'd written for Robert Altman's film called Images, which was very scary. And I looked at the film and called Stephen and I said, it felt to me more like an adventure film, but let me fool around with it and so on. And I tried several little ideas and finally came up with this silly thing. Boom, 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 boom,
Silly thing.
that. And I thought, well, that might work because
It's
it's
crazy
very
how iconic it is.
malleable in the sense that you can play the two notes frighteningly loud, as though the shark is right upon you, or make it very soft, as though you're hinting it's a long way away, but as it may get louder as it's approaching you. The two notes in Psycho, Bernard Herrmann, scratch, scratch,
Oh,
scratch,
yes.
you know that, which horrified us when we saw the shower scene. Now, if you play scratch, scratch, scratch with an orchestra before an audience, they laugh. And now when you play boom, 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 they laugh. So time and context or whatever shift things around from something horrific and dangerous and threatening to something that is a giggling, nostalgic memory of a good time in the theater.
You're nostalgic. Oh, Star Wars. Dude, this music is so good. It's like actually crazy.
Star Wars turned out to be a phenomenal beacon, I guess you could say, in the history of popular
True.
film. I'll tell you a little story. I looked at the film, and Han Solo and Princess Leia seemed to me to be a wonderful couple of kids. And never, any of us ever didn't get a hint from George Lucas that there was ever going to be a second film.
Oh,
And I
really?
just assumed at the
Wow.
end of this film that the two characters of Luke and Leia would in future life marry, have children. So I
Yeah.
wrote a love theme for Princess Leia and played it in the film, never realizing, and being told later on the second film, that they were brother and sister. And so in the second film, I had to write a new theme for Princess Leia. It was a complete
Oh.
mistake because George hadn't told us, that that was going to happen.
Dude, also this music's so good. Like, how is crazy is these like film franchises are so
Phone call for
iconic
you
too.
to take from London about Harry Potter. I knew about the books, but I hadn't read them. He said, "Will you write a piece of music that you would imagine would be a trailer for the film and record it with orchestra and send it to us?" I came back from dinner and wrote the Hedwig theme. Dum ba dum bum bing bum bum.
It's
That.
crazy. He just like
And the next day,
does that in one
orchestrated it,
night.
and
What
then
the
a day or
fuck?
so later, recorded it with an orchestra that Mr.
That's
Gorfin had
crazy.
organized, and sent it to them. And the producer called back and he said, "That's it. That's the theme from our film. We want it all through the film and all through the whole thing." I'm not sure where I had dinner that night, but it seemed to work out all
Yeah.
right.
Dude, Home Alone too. Like this guy's crazy. What the
I've watched
fuck?
Home Alone a few times. It delights me. Chris Columbus
His
is the
little
director of that film, and also the first.
his own Christmas, like he comes up with his own Christmas carol basically in that song, and it's like so iconic now with Christmas. It's crazy.
Harry Potter, which I did with Chris. So I have those two wonderful experiences with Chris, who I like very, very much indeed.
So
I
did
think
he, because of Home Alone, he did Harry Potter, right?
Home Alone is very special. It's a timeless piece.
Yeah,
It
like
ages very,
two
very
things
well.
of that.
And it's played by a lot of orchestras live, where they show the film and the orchestra plays the music live and the chorus sings. And it's quite an event. It's become a kind of annual event around the world.
Yes.
Very rewarding and very satisfying.
Yeah, I feel like. Oh my god, this dude, like, it's crazy, it's crazy.
Jurassic
Oh
Park is
god.
fantastic. I watched it a couple of years ago with Steven Spielberg, our director. I haven't seen
But
it in
here's
20 years or more,
yeah, that
25
makes
years maybe.
sense. Like,
At the end of the film, we looked at each other and we said, boy, that was a pretty good movie, wasn't it? 20, 25
dude,
years
the
later.
fucking
What
two
I think
goats.
has extended its popularity. Well, these amusement parks, we have them here in California,
Yeah,
in
having like
Florida,
the
and wherever
actual
else they are,
versions of
in
them.
Europe, I think, in Japan even. We see the monsters, and our young people can enjoy the memory of the movie. Older people also. It's still with us in the culture.
But all
The
these
winner
are. All these
is
movies are.
John Williams for Fiddler on the Roof.
My first award of any kind. Of course, I was very excited. But I have to tell you, I have now had so many nominations for this and that
Like,
and other
yeah,
awards
almost
and
every other
Grammys and
year or
so on.
whatever.
I think it's a human thing that you don't become so jaded that if you win your 100th baseball game, it isn't just as thrilling as winning your 99th. The Oscar ceremonies have so radically different in the now, 60 years that I've been going to those awards.
6 years,
The
dang.
initial concept was that it was a dinner party where the
Oh.
movie stars would actually do performances. If it was a dramatic actress, she would do a comedy skit, or
Why don't
some
they do that
funky
anymore?
actor that couldn't
Fucking
act
hell.
or could act but couldn't sing or dance would try to sing or dance. Gary
It's so
Cooper, the great
fun.
cowboy star, would do some
They're
comedy
not that
routine.
interesting
But that's
anymore.
all gone, and in a way, it's too bad because it would. I guess the principal performers and great celebrities didn't want to have themselves seem foolish. So when I first went to the Oscars, there was still a residue of that atmosphere and that quality to the evening. But it's coming up to close to 100 years, and it's a wonderful tradition, which I hope goes on longer. Films that I've composed, my favorites. Close Encounters, some of that music
Close
I'm fond
Encounters.
of. Home Alone, I'm fond of the score. Steven Spielberg loves the Reavers. Superman. I love
Superman,
the
yes.
Superman.
Also,
It
like, he's
works
crazy.
extremely well.
He's crazy.
There's a lot.
We reused in the recent film too, the John Williams score. And fucking Indiana Jones.
Star Wars films, Indiana Jones. But really, people ask about the favorite scores. It's really like about saying, what's your favorite child when you've got 3 kids? You love them all, and there are things about each one you might want to improve if you could. People ask about a legacy. I don't
Favorite
think
still.
about very much. I think I'm much too young to think of such things. We all want to be remembered as somebody who did well, tried to improve the world
W.
we
John
found.
Williams.
We're challenged in our lives to do more, to be better. So there's a lot of work to do. And if I could be remembered as someone who did his job well, and remembered as a good,
Dude, yeah,
solid
you already
musician, I would
noticed that. So.
be rest very happily.
But yeah, that guy's, he's just, John Williams is so fucking good. It's crazy. What a legend.